Okay, testimonials, case studies, similarities, and differences. They are similar, but their differences are distinct and really important. So I wanted to get into the similarities and differences between testimonials versus case studies, just so you have a better understanding of when and how to use each of them, because they are both really effective at converting people who are kind of on the fence and making them take that final step and click the buy button or reach out to you for that consultation or whatever that final step is. So, first and foremost, testimonial. What is a testimonial? So, a testimonial is usually written, although video testimonials are more common now, but it's always written by the client, right? You reach out to an existing or past client and say, hey, it was great working with you. Would you please write us a review? And I do want to take a quick moment to say those reviews that are on LinkedIn or on your Google business profile, those all count. Those are all testimonials. So absolutely get as many of those as you can, because those will boost your presence on those platforms. And you can also take those testimonials and put them all over the place. And you should. So that's what a testimonial is. The format, not really set in stone, just because everyone is going to use their own format. The focus of the testimonial, because it's written by the client, it's very focused on the problem that they were struggling with, how that problem felt, how frustrating that was, and then your solution and how much better it was to work with you, what you did to solve the problem, and what that result felt like for them, which is part of what makes those testimonials so powerful. First of all, it's coming from a third party, right? So there's a difference between you talking about how awesome you are and all the great stuff you do. And it's not that people don't believe that, but they always take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because they know that you have an ulterior motive in talking yourself up. Everyone wants to put themselves in the best light, right? But someone else who has been in their situation saying that this person was super helpful and I'm so glad I worked with them, that's going to go a lot farther in terms of, again, getting them off the proverbial fence and making them decide to work with you. The goal of a testimonial is to provide not just proof of work, but proof of results. I don't think anyone doesn't believe that you're not doing what you say you do, but can you really get the results that you say you can get? And those testimonials are what's going to prove it. And the benefits, like I said, it's one thing to know that a testimonial, it's one thing to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, but we all want to go straight to the client and be like, what does the client think? What is it actually like to work with this person? The other benefit, the little known benefits that I think people don't take advantage of enough with testimonials, you can talk all day long about what you do and the benefits your clients see from your work, but that can only get you so far. Everyone takes that content with a grain of salt. They understand that you are creating the content with the goal of convincing them to work with you. Clients don't have ulterior motives for creating a testimonial. I mean, at best or worst, depending on how, at most, maybe you have a giveaway to encourage people to leave you a review, but it's still always going to be in their own words, and it's always going to be an honest review. So absolutely take advantage of that. And the fact that they're using their own words and their own language is super powerful, because then you can take that language and put it in all of your marketing content, because now you know this is how your clients see you, this is how your clients feel about you, this is how your clients talk about you. So if you can take that language and put it in your own content, that's going to attract more people like that to come and want to work with you. So it's that marketing and branding research. That is something I always ask all of my clients, is how do your clients talk about you? Sometimes I get an immediate answer, and sometimes they're not too sure. And if they're not too sure, I always ask to see testimonials if they're available, because that's what that's going to tell me. The other advantage is that sometimes there's a problem that someone encountered that you weren't even aware of, or you didn't realize they were feeling a certain way. Again, this is all kind of market research and branding research. I worked with someone that I had them write me a lovely testimonial, talking about something they were struggling with that I hadn't even realized they were struggling with before they reached out. And then working with me was just such a breath of fresh air for them, because it was so different from that prior experience. I had no idea. That was really good to know. So think of it not just as, hey, talk me up, but it's that too. But think of it also as market research and branding research. Now, obviously, you should always be doing that with your clients. Always ask them, how was this experience? What did you take away from it? What were the best parts? What were the worst parts? Um, and finally, where to use testimonials. On the website, I think it's obvious. I have kind of mixed feelings about putting it on the homepage, depending on your industry. I work with a lot of professional service providers who, people are going to go through a longer buyer journey before they're ready to work with you. So that testimonial on the homepage is kind of like putting the cart before the horse. It might be nice to look at. It's not really what they're looking for at the moment. My favorite place to put a testimonial is always going to be on the sales page, because if people have gotten to the sales page, they are towards the end of the buyer journey. They are very seriously considering buying from you. And that testimonial is going to go a long way towards sealing the deal, because again, everything else on that sales page, they know you wrote it, or a marketer you hired wrote it for you, or whatever. They all know it's meant to put you in the best light. Whereas that testimonial, I'm kind of, oh, that's, well, okay then. This is someone who has been where I am now and come out the other side by working with this company. So always put it on your sales pages. Put it on social media. I also definitely have a testimonials page on my website that is just for testimonials. That's what it's there for. That's always also something people might gravitate towards when they are looking for, again, when they're on the fence. They're towards the end of the buy journey. They're not quite ready yet, but they're thinking about it. They're going to go to the testimonials page to see what your existing clients have to say about you. Off the website, social media is a big one, including testimonials. This is a good one. You can include testimonials in proposals that you send to prospects. That is a great way of making the proposal not just about the number, but also about the experience of what it's like to work with you, that it taps into that emotional component. And again, that's what you need to convert, right? So absolutely. Oh, and whatever you do on your website, don't ever use carousels. Those are so annoying. Where it's on the front of your website and you got a testimonial, and after a few seconds it switches to another testimonial. It always goes too fast. People never have a chance to finish reading the one testimonial before it flips to another testimonial, and now they're just annoyed. Right now they're not thinking, oh, this is a great company. Now they're thinking that was really annoying, and now I'm not going to read any of these testimonials. So whatever you do, don't use the carousel for your testimonials. Case studies. All right, we're done with testimonials. On to the case study. So what is a case study? So this is something you wrote for your marketing content, or someone on your team. It outlines a particular project you worked on for a client. And the format, again, it varies a little bit. In general, the format is, here's the problem the client was experiencing and how it was affecting them. Don't forget that part. And then you talk about what you did to solve the problem. And then finally, here's the solution and the result that the client experienced. So these are long form pieces of content. Testimonials tend to be very short. Case studies are long form pieces of content. They're usually written out. It can also be in video form or infographic form, or all of the above. Really take advantage. Always repurpose your content. Take advantage of that. The focus of a case study is on the nuts and bolts of what you did. This is where people get to see what it's like to work with you. The testimonials can show them what it's like, what it feels like to work with you. The case study is going to show them a little bit more of the nuts and bolts. This is what this company can do for me, and this is what it's going to be like to work with them. This is how long it's going to take. This is what they need from me before we start working, right? It gives them an idea of what that could actually look like when they hire you. But again, don't lose that emotional component. When you're talking about that pain point at the beginning and you're talking about the resolution at the end, talk about the feelings associated with that for the client. Not for you. You can absolutely say that, yes, it felt great to get this result for them. But at the end of the day, people don't care how you felt. They care how your clients felt. So focus on them. Goal of the case study, again, to demonstrate your expertise and give prospects more of a sense of what it would be like to work with you. A good case study combines that, the nuts and bolts, with the feelings associated with both the problem and the result. And that's what makes it magic. It has the best results for the reader, viewer, listener, whatever. Benefits of a case study. Case studies provide the best of both worlds by showing that you have worked with people in their situation and gotten results for them. They, again, like I said, they provide kind of a sneak peek into what it's like to work with you without losing that emotional connection to either the pain point or the result. And again, this means they can deliver that kind of 1-2 punch of both the nuts and bolts and the emotional component. And that is so impactful for your content. Where to use case studies. I always recommend long form pieces of content on your website. So a blog is usually the best way to put it. Again, YouTube, if you're making a video either on its own or a video to go along with a written piece of content, absolutely put that on YouTube or whatever your video house is, the platform that you use to house your videos. YouTube is great for searches, so people do search on YouTube. And then of course you can always break up, parts of the testimonial or case study into snippets to be shared on social media. And because case studies can be so powerful in converting prospects into clients, it's also a good idea to include a link to a relevant case study when sending a proposal, also on the sales page. You can have a sales page talking about something. For example, if you helped a family with young kids through a divorce, right? Maybe you have a case study where you help someone through that exact situation. You can put, instead of including the whole case study right on that sales page, just include a link and say, hey, if you want to see more about a specific example where we did this for someone, check out this case study. Same with your proposal. You want to see what it's like to work with us on this? Check out this proposal. You don't want to write out the whole case study there because no one's going to read that. But if you give them the option to click through, suddenly you're not overwhelming them with, here's all the sales page content, here's the whole proposal, and also here's this case study, right? You give them the option to click over and read the case study. And that is it. That is everything I have for you today about testimonials and case studies. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can reach me always leave a comment here on YouTube. You can reach me directly. You can head over to my website, which is AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. That is avwritingservices.com. And you can reach me directly at info@avwritingservices.com. That's it. Have a great week and happy blogging, everyone.